to the Spiritual Converse. I'm your host, EJ, back here again. Nice to see you. So much that I have missed so far in these past months. Um, it was what the last time I think it was maybe October or November, the last time I spoke to you guys. They were working on my apartment. Um, and now that they're finished with the job, I'm able to make these videos for you again without interruptions. I couldn't do that where I was staying in a hotel because there was no, private space for quietness and stuff like that. Um, but now that I have that, I can go on with my videos again. So, today, I want to brush up a little bit on some politics. I'm hearing, the primaries, all of them are going more towards Trump. Other candidates don't seem to really stand a chance against him. And, you know, people are really concerned about their country now. Like people are now becoming more concerned of the things that are going on in the day to day. What else can I say? There has been a migrant crisis, and it's funny how they use certain terms. I was talking to my boyfriend about it, about how there are an invasion happening. That they use this term crisis, but it's really an invasion. When you have more than hundreds of thousand people walking through, like, I mean, I'm exaggerating the number, but it seems that way. It just means that that's an invasion. What kind of invasion? I don't know. But anyway, so now we have them here. Of course, they're stressed out too because they're coming from one country and into a whole nother country that's like a whole nother world, to them. And even though they're looking for freedom, but it seems like, they're discovering that freedom isn't what they thought it would be, you know? Um, what else? Things that are happening in the Middle East, unfortunately, people cannot come to agreements. Uh, it looks like things are being provoked purposely to cause friction. And, you know, we as the people shouldn't have to struggle with deciding, actually forcing our hand to see what future we'll have when it comes to dealing with other nations and terms of how our goods are being distributed and stuff like that. Uh, it is causing a lot of concern. And so the people are feeling like edgy, not grounded. They're saying that mental health is at an all time high. But if you think about it, I think it's just the environmental stressors that's causing this. It's not so much that people are just bugging out, as they want to say. I don't think that that's the case. It's environmental stressors or pressures that are applied upon them. And if they don't know how to ground themselves, if they don't know how to be able to be aware of what's around them, then yeah, of course, they're going to start losing their minds. And I say that because you are always conscious of what you're doing. And if you're not conscious, then it's not you. Period. I don't care what, I don't care how you want to put it. I don't care how you want to slice it. It's not you. So you should always be consciously aware. And this is what leads up to what I'm saying. You know, uh, my next topic would be the Christ consciousness. But before we dive into Christ consciousness, the last thing I want to say is, you know, with all that is happening in the world, right? Besides mental health crisis, too, um, we also have to think about the children. No one is thinking about children and how our future is affected when it comes to these kids having the things that are happening around them affect them, and our future is at stake when it comes to them because they are the next generation. So they are the future. So we need to, think about these kids. A lot of them are dying. A lot of them committing suicide. A lot of them are dying because of the wars that are happening, but a lot of them are dying for suicide. A lot of them are becoming sick because of uh, what they call that, medicines or vaccines or medications, um, that are too much on their bodies. Uh, could be the stuff that they're eating, the foods we eat. It's a whole combination of things. But no one is thinking about the children, regardless of what it is. No one's thinking about the children, and I think that that's is what's sad. In today's day and age, that we are more concerned with where our money goes and how it's being spent and who is receiving money and how much of it is being received, as opposed to human lives and the direction where the whole world is going. But that's just my opinion. Everybody has different beliefs, everybody has different opinions, but at the end of the day, if we don't consciously come together to solve our problems, there would not be a good solution. What you do is you're leaving it up to someone else to decide for you. And you see what's happening now when you leave it up to others to decide for you how your money gets spent, where your money goes, what laws be applied to you. So if you don't want those things happening, you need to stand up and stand ground and actually start voting and actually even go against certain things in the right way where there is protests or whatever. I always keep saying as a joke, when is the revolution going to begin? But I say that sarcastically and jokingly because I don't know how many times you're going to allow somebody to push you before you actually make a move. So they have worked on your fear for so long that now it seems as though it's working. And that is sad. So we need to stop being fearful and actually fight back. If this was our ancestors, things would not be this way. So it's kind of disrespectful to our ancestors that we're allowing certain things to happen, you know? Now I understand nobody wants to do time, nobody wants to die, nobody wants to, you know, uh, fight for the causes because they know the repercussions of what's going to happen. But if we don't rise up in numbers, it's going to happen. So anyway, today's topic is about Christ consciousness. And the reason why I want to talk about Christ consciousness is because I think this is the time where most people in the age of Aquarius, because we're in this era, this period of awakening, right? So a lot of truths are starting to come out, as you can see. Nothing's being hidden anymore. Um, and what people will start doing or start deciding from this. So that's the only other thing that hasn't been determined yet. But we're starting to notice a lot of things and it's becoming more aware. Now, Christ consciousness is knowing, being aware of things around you and inside you, not just outside, but inside, not just inside, but outside of you. So, in order to attain Christ consciousness, it has to come from a place of maturity, uh, some sort of integrity, but without the aggression of, oh, let's act on it, let's do this now. It's more of, I am aware, I'm understanding, I can see what's going on, but not allow it to affect me, type of thing. Um, some people might not be able to notice, things of what's around them or what's happening. And so they just go with the flow of things sometimes. And that's fine too, but to a certain degree, right? So if it's just about being intellectually smart about the decisions we make and being mature enough to know, how it could affect you without allowing it to affect you, affect you. So, making those type of discernments is what can lead to Christ consciousness. Being in balance with the chakras in the body from the root all the way to the crown. That is what will be of Christ consciousness. Certain characteristics of Christ consciousness would be like self-love, self-acceptance, not just of the self, but of others too. Knowing how to love, when to love, to give and receive. Um, what else? Building a sort of unity. Um, what else? Just building relations, having serenity, being selective, um, a sense of harmony, a sense of transcendence, knowing how to bring the peace to you and away from you onto others. So, Jesus, right? Jesus Christ, the Christ. Um, the reason why they use the word Christ is because he attained Christ consciousness at around 33 years of age, where he was healing, where he was seeing through things, kind of predicting things, and being able to talk to the higher realm, the angelic realm, or you could say heaven, God. He was the only one to make contact, powerful enough to make contact. Were there others like him? Of course. But they didn't call them the Christ. They had other names for them, you know. Um, there's been many Jesuses, I would say, in on this earth, not just Jesus Christ, where they were able to uh, tap into their hidden potential and bring it out of them to show that they too had attained a level of high consciousness. Uh, those kinds of people, they don't allow things to affect them as easily as others would. And I think it's because of a total understanding or overstanding or understanding or however you want to say standing. They just know. And sometimes they can be able to help you in your situation, or they can just step back and allow things to flow naturally like they should. You know, it all depends on, I guess, the situation. But these people, these high intelligent beings, because I have to say we're all beings, some are just more in tune with their gifts than others. Because we all have these gifts inside us. We just have them dormant. They're not awakened. They need to be awakened. And so, in order to awaken these gifts, you have to tune in, meditate, whatever it is that you have to do to get yourself to wake up. And some people do practices, like I said in my other videos, of, Reiki, meditation, uh, doing practices around the moon. Some people like to call it witch stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's just alchemy, but that's just my opinion. A lot of people feel comfortable throwing the word witch around, and I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think it's cool to just call yourself a witch without knowing what a witch is or what they consider a witch. Like in ancient times, it wasn't cool to be called a witch. You would be burned at the stake or beheaded or whatever the hell they wanted to torture you, you know, for becoming one. So, and a lot of innocent women, especially, there were men that they considered warlocks, but, you know, they were innocently killed because they thought that they were doing witch stuff, and it really wasn't witch stuff. It was either that they tapped into sciences, certain philosophies, or or just simply, trying to tap into earth energy, just doing earthbound things, collecting rocks, sitting in front of the sun, anything that's just, you know, helping the soul to energize, to elevate. And so they, thought that these beings doing this were like witches at that time. But thank God times have changed. And, because of consciousness, they realize, no, we're just killing people. And, uh, what's happening nowadays is that people are tapping in, but they're not using it for good use, And so, once again, the ones that are using it for good use, actually is being called upon you guys to teach others how to elevate, how to rise up and be grounded during times like these, what to allow and what not to allow, for the greater good, not just for the self. And that's what Christ consciousness is about. It's not just about the self, it's about everything around, inner and outer. So, with this Christ consciousness, I was reading a book that could be controversial. I can't even say the name of the author or the name of the book, but I can tell you this: it did have some Freemasonry stuff. I don't know if it actually came from them, but whoever did that, obviously took different texts and put them together and started talking, um, and incorporating these things to come up with this concept or idea that in order to obtain Christ consciousness, the spinal cord is the most important thing in your body. It holds on to the nerve endings, it records, it does all of that, it feels, it does everything that the body needs to do, which is to move, to see, to this, to that, like it, everything. So that spinal cord is like the ladder. And so if it's the ladder to where consciousness can build. Um, in order for us to tap into our gifts and stuff, where we feel things around us, where we sense these things of reading others and all of that, like it's showing that in order to obtain this level of consciousness, your spine has to be uh, strong enough, or like the soul is strong enough. So the soul, when it connects with body, its vessel, it is able to do amazing things if we can just tap in and allow it to be. So Eastern philosophies have explained about becoming like water, or like if you're gonna flow with everything, flow like water. So usually you'll hear about water, about nature, because nature is is still right. It's in a nice state. It's not is There's no rush, there's no nothing, but things still happen. Well, that's the same thing of self. If you want to obtain that kind of Christ consciousness, you have to know how to ground and how to just let things be without being in control, but allowing it to flow naturally so that it could be in stability and not so much control. It will stabilize itself, if that makes any sense. But all that stuff that was said, that I've read, of how the spine is the steps or the ladder to success. you know that if a person is real aware or in touch with themselves, if they listen to their inner voice of the good stuff, of course, because I'm not gonna say listen to your inner voice and you got bad shit going on. I'm talking about I'm talking about the good stuff. You could obtain consciousness. So, you know, you wonder how these people become doctors, lawyers, because I'm not going to say celebrities. Celebrities, that's just, to me, that's just a thing of luck, and some people don't even believe in luck. It just is, you know what I mean? So, but I'm talking about people who actually have used their brains, have worked hard to get to where they're at. Not saying that actors and actresses didn't work hard to get there, but it's not the same kind of hard work. It's a different kind of hard work. What they're using is their creativity, whereas others are using their minds to do stuff. You know, not too much being creative, but being innovative, creating things to make things work. Like Nikola Tesla, you know, like he's another example of Christ consciousness. There's a lot others that have reached that level and has shared their gifts with the world, and that's the point of Christ consciousness, not just of yourself, but sharing these gifts to others. So whatever it is you do, you are still giving of yourself, in a sense, to others and sharing this gift. And why is that? Maybe to collectively build the consciousness of others so that we can elevate together. And in my other videos, I kept saying that. I kept saying, people have to come together, because if you want to get out of your situation, it's going to take more than one. It's going to take more than a few. It's going to take the whole world. Seriously. It's actually going to take the whole world. And whatever title you want to be, president, celebrity, worker, sex worker, I don't care who you are. If you don't all elevate collectively, consciously, we're all going to be stuck in the same thing, the same loop over and over and over again. And has that not been true? Of course. Of course it has. But are we seeing things happening now that are different from before? Of course. And that has to do with elevation of the self. So throughout history, we've noticed how people have brought their way up to, either fight back or even develop new things so that people can uh, live better and do things more efficiently. We're going through it again. We went through that with the industrial revolution. We went through that through the Renaissance, uh, of all types, because there was a Harlem Renaissance. There was the Renaissance of back in the ancient times with the sciences and Pythagoras and all those things. Egyptians, symbolism, symbology, what we use from them, and adapted to our own way and all that. We have come a long way. And so, with that long way, we keep paving the way for others. And that is the reason of Christ consciousness, reaching, attaining a level so that we can pave the way for ourselves and for others. So, I think the question here is, when are you going to level up? When are you going to say, okay, today's my day to just, do the things that I like doing, and not just because you want to do it, it's so that you can elevate yourself to become better of self. And how could you share that better self with others? That's the importance, the purpose of life. That is the purpose. How do we elevate to become in a state where we can be of service, or we can be purposeful and have others say, you know what, I think she's right or he's right. So, anyway, love to discuss more. If you can like, subscribe, share the video, get the conversation going. That's the whole reason for the spiritual converse, is to be able to talk about things that people just don't normally talk about. And so, of course, you know, if we can just always talk about the unknown, somewhere along the line it's going to be known. That's the point of that. So I'm glad that I'm back. Excuse me. I'm glad that I'm back to do these videos, to talk about certain things. If there is a topic you want me to discuss and research or know about, just type it in the comments. If you want to do an interview with me, I guess you can contact me in the comments or go to my Instagram. I think I linked it. It should be there. But you can always find me at EJ underscore Machiavelli on Instagram. Uh, and just put like interview or whatever, and just tell me exactly what it is you would like to talk about. I don't even care if it was about the supernatural or whatever, or if you felt like you reached Christ consciousness and that epiphany just happened. Let's talk about those things. All right. All right, so I'll see you in my next video, and hopefully we all can attain Christ consciousness. That's what I'm trying to start here with everyone. All right, have a good day, guys. um, Tune in for my next video, and I will keep it coming. I'm glad I'm back. Thank you.